Welcome to LeonCo, everybody, and on this week's video we'll be talking about how to build wealth. On our last topic we talked about how to become a millionaire, but we want to talk about building and how can you achieve wealth. And that is one of the most important things that you want to do in your life. Being a millionaire is great, having a lot of money is great, but building wealth is that advantage, that edge that you can have from everybody in your surrounding, in your community, in your professional life. Building wealth, because wealth gives you longevity. Just having money or having some pieces that give you money a little by little, it's good for the short run, but building assets and building we go out to say an empire, amount of things that give you a consistent amount of income will eventually build you wealth, and that is one of the things that you want to achieve as a financial goal. So some tips that are similar to our last video, but these tips we want to be more specific on how can they build you wealth. So the first thing, just like in our last video, we want to talk about is find things that are necessities in the city that you live, maybe in other countries, and find the necessities, but exploit them to all the capacities that you can do. So you want to start a business, you want to start a service that is focused on a certain necessity that people have, but you want to focus that for the long run. You want to build other necessities. Not just focus on the necessities in hand, you want to build and provide other necessities for other people so that the market, the business that you're building will always have a longevity because you build a demand. And that is one of the most important things, and not all the things that not necessarily everybody talks about, but it's one of the things that will give you that advantage. Building a market and building a necessity for other people will give you wealth, and that is something very important that you should always know when you start a business, when you're planning to start a business, or maybe you already have a business and you want to expand to other areas. Build a market, build your own market, build your own necessities. Make people have a necessity of what you're selling will build you wealth. The other thing is get into real estate, but get into smart real estate. Don't get into just buying houses, flipping houses. Go to smart real estate investments, or if you don't want to do this on hand, find a realtor. Find a person that you can trust that can give you specific information on the market that you want to enter. For example, if you want to get into the real estate business, but you want to build a longevity business, you want to build wealth with it, go to a university campus. Look around at the buildings around the university campuses. Find if you can maybe build housing for the students. Maybe you can build commodities for students. And that is a longevity business, because universities, schools is something that has a long longevity. And if it's a good university, if it's a good school, people will always be there. People will always go. So you will have a constant fluid of people, of parents, of students that will always go to that place. So you build a business, you build a real estate business around that university, and you can build a longevity wealth. And that is one of the things that we want to talk about is you can start businesses, you can go into markets, but if you don't do it in a smart way, if you just do it for a short run to just make a big bucks in a short run, you won't be building wealth. You will just be building some amount of cash that if it's easy come, it's easy go. So if you say in a span of 3, maybe 4 years, you build your $1 million, but then you spend it in half a year, then you're not necessarily building wealth. You're just building big amounts of money in short amounts of time, and you're spending it all. So we want to change that mindset. We want to give you that idea that start looking at things in the long run, and that's one of the most important things that you should do when you want to build wealth. Everything is for the long haul, not for the short term. It's for the long haul. You want to think in the future. You want to build that little pieces. Start building that sandcastle. Start building that immense building, but little by little. So that's in the real estate business. I talked about building a business or building a brand of services that you want to do. And one of the most important things that you should do, maybe you don't have the money to go into real estate, maybe you're not in a company, and maybe you're just an employer, you're just a simple employer that you want to build well, you want to eventually retire and have that financial freedom to achieve what you want to do. So my most important tip is, for example, if your company provides you a 401k, max that 401k. Max it to the amount of that company is going to give you that amount of money that you're achieving. Maybe it's a 3%, maybe it's a 2%, but max it out to the amount the company is going to equal from your investment. Talk to an investor and start building an investment portfolio in the market. Do those little things that seem little now, but in the long run will build you wealth. Start saving, have an emergency fund, have a rainy days account. Maybe you want to, if you have a partner, if you have a wife, if you have a spouse, talk to them and see if it works for you guys to take $50, maybe $100, it could be a month, it could be a week, and put it in a joint savings account and just leave it there. And do this weekly, do this monthly, and do this for 20 years, do this for 15 years. Building wealth is not something that you do one day to another. Building wealth is something that takes time, it's something that takes patience, it takes dedication, it takes hard work. And that's not something that we talk about in our day-to-day. It's a misconception that everybody could be a millionaire from a day to a night. Everyone could build wealth in just a few minutes or just a few days, just doing simple things, and that's a lie. That's not reality. So if you have any more questions about how to build wealth, or any topic about this, let us know. Leave us a comment, leave us a like, leave us a subscribe. Check out our other videos, check out our other social media, and always remember to have that king mentality.